When women come together, it's not always for tea and sympathy. Why does a nurse prescribe cruelty?
There are some people that are simply evil.
How the wrong zip code can be lethal.
They were absolutely furious. They wanted to get at her.
And what idle gossip puts a girl in an early grave?
She can talk.
Saying the wrong things about the wrong people could get you killed.
Sisterhood solidarity means nothing when these deadly women go girl on girl.
Sorry, I'm late.
45-year-old Texan Kimberly Cargill is hoping to start a new life
I love a woman in uniform.
with a new man.
Very smart, very intelligent. She's a nurse. She's a caregiver. The men that got involved with her said, you know, she was an easy person basically to fall in love with.
She's had 3 children with 3 different fathers.
Who's this?
And life hasn't been easy.
That's my eldest. He died.
Each new man in her life hears a painful story. A son tragically lost, and constant war with her exes.
Hey,
She alleged sexual abuse against these men.
how do I make it go away?
She actually turned one husband into the police 3 separate times over a weekend, claiming that he had abused her.
First, they beat me. Then they tried to steal my children.
The fathers want custody of their children.
I'm gaffy, okay?
But there's one fresh light: her new boyfriend.
It's okay.
In 2005, they marry and soon have a child of their own. But father number 4 has no idea what he's in for.
What the? I thought I told you to clean out this room. I do not want to hear any. Don't laugh at me. Clean your room. Nothing.
She starved those
No
kids.
sound.
She locked them in their rooms. She actually changed the locks so they couldn't get out. And she beat them.
You are never, ever, ever gonna have that again. You hear me?
Her children's fathers have every reason to want them out of this house. As father number 4 soon discovers when his mom comes to visit.
Can you mind him, Anne?
I'm sorry, I can't. I have plans. He's your grandson.
She actually assaulted her husband's mother.
All right, Ricky. Go on.
Twisting her arm nearly out of socket.
For a child to assault a parent is taboo. It's crossing a line that should never, ever be crossed. But Kimberly did. He should have run for the hills.
One of Kimberly's children is safe from her brutality. Her eldest child is not dead, as she claims.
Your mom's here.
He's living with his father
You don't have to go with her. I'll be here.
and wants nothing to do with mom.
She showed up at their house.
Hi, Kim. Where's my son? You're not to take him. Where's my son? You're not to take him.
She attacked the babysitter by kicking her in the stomach.
Where is he? Get off! Where is he? Go!
the age of 12, when a boy might need his mother very much, he requested to not have to attend the supervised visits. That's how much she upset him.
With a string of violent allegations against her, Kim is ordered to undergo a psychiatric assessment.
That therapist diagnosed her with narcissistic personality disorder.
I need help.
Kimberly Cargill was a cornucopia of mental disorders, all of them bad.
She's prescribed medication to help control her mood swings.
But she didn't want to take it, and she didn't take it. But then again, she was a narcissist. Why should she be on medication?
What is this?
Now, her new husband bears her wrath.
What is your problem?
That is not my favorite.
He found himself finally realizing, oh, guy 1, guy 2, guy 3, they're not the ones that are bad. It's this person.
But you know what my favorite is?
That's enough! That's
To
enough!
avoid being charged for assault,
I'm leaving you.
Kim portrays herself as the victim.
What are you doing? You crazy?
She had actually hit herself in the face to give herself bruises. And this is stuff that she would actually use when the police showed up. He hit me. Here's the proof.
Father number 4
Help me. My husband.
has finally had enough. He leaves.
I'm gone.
She used her husbands, and she used them to vent her anger and to blame them for her life.
Kim can't live with men, but she can't cope without them. By 2010, her home is filthy. She's lost custody of 2 sons and barely buys enough food for the remaining 2.
Hey, boys.
It's their babysitter, 29-year-old Cherry Walker, who gives them the love Kim seems incapable of.
Yeah. How was your day at school? Yeah, it was right. Yeah.
Cherry, being a really good person, would use her money to get the kids food. But her money was food stamps. She barely had enough for herself.
Cherry is a generous soul.
Yeah.
Cherry was a very good caretaker, very angelic. She just had this beautiful personality.
Cherry was a sweet woman. She didn't know how not to be sweet.
Make sure they behave. They're little angels.
But she can't protect the children 24 hours a day.
They better be.
Cherry was not stupid. She knew that this was wrong. She knew that what was happening to this child was wrong.
Let's make these. Yeah.
Cherry wants to help. But as Kim's battle with her exes intensify, so does her rage.
Kim's violent behavior escalated with each new victim. And what was about to happen was the worst thing in the world.
Tyler, Texas.
Where's my son? You're not to take it.
Kimberly Cargill is a nurse who can't even care for her own children.
No sound out of either of you.
Losing custody of her 2 older sons doesn't stop her beating another. The boy's father reports the abuse, and she loses custody of her 3rd child.
She lost custody of 3 different children of 3 different fathers, solely to the father.
Now she fears losing her 4th. Child Protective Services removed the youngest son from her care.
Kim had 1 son left, and that one was her last shot at having somebody that she could control.
There'll be another custody trial.
This is an outrage. My ex is the violent one.
By the time a mother of 4 is in court for the 4th time, having a 4th child taken away from her, her image isn't very good. I would say it was rock bottom.
Authorities will need evidence, and they know just where to look.
Looking good, Sherry. Thanks.
The babysitter.
Cherry was somebody they wanted on their side for the protection of this child.
I got this.
Cherry is subpoenaed to appear at Kim's trial.
You think it's painted?
Her babysitter's evidence could seal Kim's fate.
Kim was absolutely frantic. She was texting, she was calling. She was telling people that if Cherry testifies, she might lose custody.
Kim texted Cherry 70 times over the next several hours. Kim was desperate to get Cherry to not testify.
On June 18th, 2010, 5 days before the court case, Kim invites Cherry out for dinner.
Kim could be very persuasive. Cherry really didn't stand a chance. Kim picked her up for dinner.
At that moment, Cherry was like a seal swimming in the ocean, and a great white shark headed right at them.
Kim wants to make sure Cherry is a silent witness.
Somehow she overpowered Cherry.
There was hemorrhaging in her eyes, there were abrasions on her face, and there was bruising on her chest.
But they were not able to actually say how she died.
Kim tries to destroy all the evidence.
She took the body, dumped it on the side of the road, doused it with lighter fluid, and lit the clothes on fire.
Usually when a killer burns a body or tries to burn a body, they're trying to destroy evidence, evidence that would lead back to them. It rarely works.
Cherry's partially burned body is found the next day.
They were able to find out that Cherry was supposed to be a witness in this case against Kimberly Cargill. It wasn't very hard for them to determine that she would probably be a good suspect in this case.
At first, Kim denies seeing Cherry. But when a forensic team combs her car, it finds soil from the murder site and a single hair.
Looks like the soil we found in your car matches that of the murder.
Cornered, Kim changes her story.
Okay. She was in my car, but I did not kill her.
Kim told police that she'd panicked, that Cherry had a seizure and that she died. And Kim was afraid that all of Cherry's DNA was in her car and she'd get blamed for it. That's why she ditched the body and set it on fire.
I tried to save her.
The police don't buy it. In 2012, Kimberly Cargill is found guilty of capital murder and sentenced to death.
She felt like she was invincible, that she could get away with everything and anything, including murder.
For years, Kim Cargill gets away with cruelty, abuse, and neglect. She masked her true nature and leaves behind a trail of victims.
Cherry Walker is dead because the system failed her. After Kim had her first child removed because of abuse, the system should have been onto her, and the second time it happened, she should have been sent to prison. But that didn't happen.
Teenage friendships can flip on a dime.
These rumors had been spread that she was having sex with boys.
Who's sending her?
And when the claws come out,
This is it.
She was too scared to go out of the house.
Why did you do it?
there'll be hell to pay.
You don't grab a weapon unless you mean business.
England, 2011. It's not uncommon for teens in South London to grow up fast. 15-year-old Rebecca Douglas likes life on the street.
She was mixing with local street gangs in the areas of Lambeth and Wandsworth.
A constant companion
Why? Which way you going, girl?
is 16-year-old Julie Sheriff.
Guess what I got?
She's had a tough upbringing in war-torn Africa.
Julie was a victim of the war in Sierra Leone. She was living in a refugee camp.
Julie's family hope England will give them a better life.
She would be able to have a safe upbringing, an education, and go on to gain a good job in London.
Did you nick it?
But she's becoming a wayward teenager.
Julie was known to police for acts of dishonesty, such as shoplifting.
Looks good on me.
And she fell in with the wrong crowd.
Rebecca's upbringing is also troubled.
Rebecca definitely had a violent, traumatic background. She didn't get on very well with her mother and was regularly reported missing from home.
Why won't you talk to her?
I ain't got nothing to say to her.
She was living on other people's couches in their living rooms.
Mum says you can stay for tonight, but that's it.
That is a very difficult life for a young person.
Like Nancy.
She developed a persona of being very tough. Nobody could push her around.
The two girls have a lot in common.
Not sure she can do that handshake anymore.
But now the law on the street threatens their friendship
She's up to happy.
because they live in different suburbs.
North side, east side, south side, west side. Different postcodes, different gangs.
In London, many of these gangs are actually based on a postcode, the area in which you live.
All I'm saying.
Once childhood friends,
Whatever.
now they find themselves divided by their zip codes.
And it appears that they may actually have become rivals because they ended up in separate gangs.
There was heavy territorial influence in this relationship, and they were not meant to be friends.
And Rebecca is ready to pick her gang over her old friend.
Teenagers have strong needs to be a member of a group, to be accepted. Because of their group affiliations, the boundaries were drawn.
A feud starts when Rebecca's sex life is all over social media.
Have you seen her messages? Who's sending her?
Lots of people. I think Julie started it.
These rumors had been spread about Rebecca, that she was being promiscuous with boys.
She's gonna get it.
Rebecca is certain she knows who is posting the gossip.
Their hostility to each other seems very trivial.
Because of social media, those messages and distorted facts can spread even faster.
For a teenager in a gang, reputation is everything.
Being part of a gang culture meant that she felt she had to act.
Rebecca didn't have anything except her friends and her reputation. She knew her friends would be there. Her reputation was up for grabs.
This former friend
What do you want? Well, you could spread rumors about me, did ya?
is about to become a deadly enemy.
Why did you do this?
You don't grab a weapon unless you mean business.
You lied to me!
South London in early 2011. A teenage feud is escalating.
Have you seen the messages?
Rebecca Douglas believes her former friend, 16-year-old Julie Sheriff,
Well, you could spread rumors about me, did ya?
is dissing her on social media.
I didn't do it! Don't lie to me!
Rebecca was known to both police and social services for being involved in violent offences.
Rebecca's a hoe, huh? Sits with a different guy every night? I swear I didn't say that! Don't lie to me!
The online war turns physical.
Julie's father told police he walked into the room and there was virtually a mass fight going on. He describes pulling and slapping.
You okay? What? Oh my God.
But Rebecca isn't finished. She wants to make Julie's life miserable.
They came back to the house and were throwing stones at the window, clearly intent on provoking or threatening Julie.
I have called the police, eh?
They were absolutely furious and they wanted to get at her.
It was personal between Julie and Rebecca.
Rebecca's constant bullying takes a toll on Julie. She becomes trapped by fear.
They had really scared Julie, and for a period of time, she was too scared to go out of the house or travel far from home.
Teenagers like to be out and about. Everybody knows grounding a teenager is a form of punishment. Julie had self-imposed grounding. She was afraid to leave.
But Julie can't hide forever. On May 7th, 2011, she ventures out. But she's spotted by her tormentor, Rebecca.
Julie and her friend were just walking along the pavement when Rebecca saw them.
Rebecca challenged Julie by saying, "What are you doing in Clapham?"
What are you doing in Clapham? I could know where I lie.
The argument broke out almost immediately.
Who the hell do you think you are spreading rumors about me?
Rebecca was insulted and threatened that Julie was in her neighborhood.
Well, I didn't spread anything, all right? Yes, so who did? I don't know. Ask one of your boyfriends.
A witness says that she went into her handbag and took out the comb with this long steel spike on the end of it. She first of all stabbed her in the collarbone. That didn't inflict much damage, and so she had another go.
I'm stabbing you! I'm stabbing you!
Rebecca plunged the tail of the comb deep into Julie's brain.
Rebecca didn't need to carry a knife. She had a comb that had a sharp steel handle. That's as good as a knife.
Rebecca must have been aware of what she had done because Julie collapsed pretty quickly after she had attacked her.
I have a headache.
The bleeding in the brain caused increased pressure, and that caused a headache. It also caused almost immediate loss of consciousness.
Rebecca just nonchalantly walked away from the scene.
As Rebecca calmly leaves, bystanders call the paramedics, and Julie is rushed to the hospital.
The scans quickly revealed that she'd suffered a brain injury and she was operated on.
As surgeons race to save Julie, her attacker hits social media.
She left messages for friends in which she said, "I met a girl at the junction and I truly hate her. And so I kind of stabbed her."
Despite the doctor's efforts, Julie is in a deep coma. When Rebecca hears that she's still alive, she makes even more threats.
This girl knows my name yet, so I'm gonna go to the hospital.
There were clear threats on there talking about maybe going to the hospital to attack her again so she couldn't be a witness.
She said, I'm gonna flippin' suffocate her.
And I'm gonna flippin' suffocate her.
After the attack, Rebecca boasted about it via social networking and said she'd do it again. That was premeditated murder, in my opinion.
But Rebecca won't get the chance to strike again. Security cameras and witnesses quickly identify her. She's arrested and charged with grievous bodily harm. For months, Julie lies in a deep coma. There is nothing the doctors can do to help her.
She couldn't recover. Julie ultimately died 5 months later because her brain was dead.
Julie, no, make me go back home. Julie, make me go home. No.
Her father makes the heartbreaking decision to turn off her life support.
Are you ready?
He brought her to a safe place where he thought that she would thrive and prosper and be safe. But it was in London that she was killed.
Julie's father came to believe if he had never left Sierra Leone with his daughter, she might be alive today.
Rebecca is rearrested. Now she's charged with murder.
Rebecca, as you are aware, Julie passed away in the hospital.
But she remains defiant.
When we rearrested Rebecca for murder, she was very angry.
We're done here, yeah?
She tried to storm out of the interview room,
Sit down, Rebecca.
and she showed no remorse for her actions at that stage.
In 2012, Rebecca Douglas is convicted of murder. She's sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 10 years.
I describe Rebecca Douglas as a troubled and violent young lady who doesn't seem to have any regard for the consequence of her actions.
To Rebecca, reputation and the code of her gang meant more than a life.
Rebecca felt entitled to do what she did. Her reputation was at stake, and Julie was going to pay. Teenage angst, jealousy, rivalry, all contributed to this horrible situation. One life lost and another in prison.
Next, for some women, gossip is never idle.
A rumor can destroy someone.
And when the stakes are high,
Saying the wrong things could get you seriously hurt. It could get you killed.
The story is a Victorian tale of girl-on-girl violence.
Get more deadly women online. InvestigationDiscovery.com. In Georgia's Appalachian Mountains in the 1870s, childhood ends early.
Girls, you're too old for silly games. Sorry, Mom.
Girls marry as young as 12. And if you're 18 and unwed, you're an old maid, like Kath Hambrick.
I'm worried about Kath.
All that Kath really has in this world as a woman in that environment and in that culture is to be someone's wife.
Had any suitors lately?
But they're not coming back.
Kath's parents and her older sister are worried about her future.
This was a man's world, and Kath's job before she was married was to be chaste, obedient, and do her chores. After she got married, her job was to be faithful, obedient, and do her chores.
We don't need an old maid.
Marriage would have been considered her greatest success.
Kath's parents take it upon themselves to find a husband.
He's a good man.
We'll go see.
All right.
And they hit on local bachelor, Bob Southern.
Excuse me, Bob. Can I have a word with you over there?
Little do they know, someone else has their eye on him.
Go before I start talking about you.
21-year-old Sis Fowler. Her husband has abandoned her.
Sis Fowler had a rough life. She got married at the young age of 14 or 15. She married a brute of a man who was abusive and beat her up and gave her 2 children.
She wants to marry Bob, but there's a small technicality. She's not divorced and can't find her husband to sign the papers.
She could not find her husband, she could not get a divorce, and therefore she could not become someone else's wife.
There is a wedding, but not the one Sis hopes for. When Bob chooses his wife, it's the younger, unmarried model, Kath.
Kath, I pledge to you my life as faithful and loving husband.
Before Robert decided to marry Kath, he had a thing going on with Sis. And he didn't want to give that up at all.
I pledge to you my life as an obedient and faithful wife.
But his parents said, oh, no, you can't marry her. So you can't have legitimate children with her. She's not divorced. And that's how he ended up marrying Kath.
But Sis isn't giving up. She wants to break up the newlyweds. And tension is high in the town.
I tell you. Hi, sis.
Hi. She's a whore. Don't talk to her.
All right.
Sis starts spreading rumors in the hope that Bob will turn against his wife.
She can talk. She's been seeing a man in the swamps.
The rumor that Sis started about Kath, that she'd met a man down by the swamp, threatened Kath's very existence.
A woman's reputation was everything. She loses a great deal of value if she has a reputation.
The gossip quickly spreads, and when Kath gets pregnant, the rumor mill goes into overdrive.
Now, in this close-knit community, why would a married woman be meeting a man in secret in a swamp? The implication there is that she's having an affair with him. You take that implication one step further, maybe even this man is the father of her baby.
If her husband believes the gossip, it would be grounds for divorce. Kath would lose everything, and Sis would win back Bob.
And then Kath would have found herself a single parent with no means of support beyond her immediate family.
Sis was playing with fire.
The feud comes to a head when Kath's parents arrange a hoedown and invite her enemy, Sis.
You coming to the dance?
What dance? I don't know anything about no dance.
Can't have a party without you. Come on, it'll be fun.
They would have a fiddling, and they'd throw a little dance.
The two women will have to cross paths. The question is, will they make up or fight.
All right.
Well, it is a party.
Maybe they were going to have some kind of reconciliation or something. I don't know what went into her mind.
But this hoedown is about to become a showdown.
Not only could she best that woman, but she could take her off the face of the earth.
In the Appalachian Mountains, Georgia, on February 10th, 1877, two young women who are fighting over a man are about to come face to face at a local dance.
Sis liked going to dances. That's probably what finally persuaded Sis to come into the cabin and join in the dance.
At first, trouble seems like the last thing on anyone's mind.
The night went along, and from the look on Sis's face, it looked like she was really enjoying herself. She was having a blast.
But Kath has other plans and shows Sis some fancy footwork of her own.
Kath is seething. Sticks out her foot.
She was warming up to the big event.
Do it again. And she does it again.
You want some?
The mountain way to settle disputes is to duke it out.
The retaliation in a community like this for someone gossiping is to have them beaten up.
It's also a tradition that the defeated loses more than the fight.
Because as soon as Kath was declared victor, whatever Sis had said was a lie. It didn't count anymore. It gone. No one recalled that early in the evening, she said to her pa, "Could you loan me your pocket knife?" She stabbed Sis.
But this isn't the mountain way.
She's been stabbed multiple times in her jaw, under her rib cage, through her breast. Probably one of the blows that went through her breast also went through her heart. She was probably dead before she hit the floor.
Kath hasn't just dispatched a rival.
You killed her? Are you sorry you killed Sis?
She thinks she's elevated her social standing.
No way. I'm the man who killed Narcissa Fowler.
I think when Kath said that, "I'm the man who killed Sis Fowler," perhaps she wanted to be seen as strong and commanding as any man in the community.
It was a point of pride for her. I've achieved something. I matter.
But she's miscalculated.
Nobody's leaving.
Get out of my way.
The locals might appreciate a fist fight, but not a cold-blooded murder.
This was an honor fight. You fight an honor fight honorably. But Kath broke the contract.
Kath and husband Bob are now on the run, and the whole town is after them. They flee the state.
Bob and Kath Southern moved to western North Carolina, where they hid out with their friends and relatives.
They were successfully evading everybody. They even had a baby while they were fugitives.
But a price on your head means there's always someone on your tail.
A reward of $400 was offered for the arrest of Kath Southern, and a local bounty hunter and former ex-sheriff set out to find them.
Put your hands up, Bob.
early one morning in April 1878. Their luck runs out. Kath Southern is found guilty of murder and sentenced to death. But she never feels the tight noose of the hangman.
Governor Alfred Colquitt, once upon a time, had been her father's commander in the Confederate Army during the Civil War. Governor Alfred Colquitt almost immediately commuted her sentence from death to life in prison.
The governor's generosity doesn't end there.
After a few years, Kath was given a full pardon by Governor Colquitt. This is one of the last actions that he took as governor of Georgia.
The state of Georgia just bought her a nice life. She got a free pass on killing someone. If that happened today, chances are she'd have been sentenced to 25 years to life.
Most people would be too ashamed to return to the scene of their crime, but not Kath Southern.
After she got out of prison, Kath returned right back to the same area with her husband, Robert. It was rather brazen when you think about it. They had 8 more children, and they lived their life as if Sis Fowler was only a figment of someone else's imagination.
In Kath's day, a woman's reputation is everything. She would rather be known as a murderer than an adulterer. These deadly women turned on their own sex. Kimberly Cargill graduated from abuse to murder. Rebecca Douglas's gang meant more than a life. And Kath Southern put her reputation first. There was hell to pay when they went girl on girl.